My EV was about 75 and my body weight was around 155, around that. Since I joined that, I'm up to almost 180 now, and I'm hitting 80s, around mid 80s.
How much more kind of committed he was and how much more confident he became in his own progress, instead of questioning himself about, am I doing the right thing or is this the right thing? So you could kind of see the stress level decrease a little bit, and then that energy could be focused on really all of the program aspects, right? Or his workouts.
Do that. If you could get on and do what you said day in, day out, it's amazing. Like a game changer.
Through your program, I just realized like how much more I could learn. I could just feel the improvement over the course like of 4 or 5 months, like you said. I could feel the improvement myself. With you being able to supply me with this type of structure, I'm able to just learn for myself and learn how to improve by myself, which makes me feel a lot better as well as a lot more accomplished in the end.
You can give him guidance and he can always ask questions to you. I could see how he became more confident after talking to you every time. You are always there when he needs. I think it's really important to know or be told from someone professional like you.
It was a completely new experience for us. I think we were skeptical. We dove into some of the content. We realized how good it was and the quality of it. The way that you kind of worked with him and you set expectations for him, and like, hey, these are the things I'm expecting from you, and that was a big part of why we enjoyed the program as well.
The program has made me like a little eagerness to go out and do something and not just like wait for the team practice and do things on my own.
As his dad, I can tell him till I'm blue in the face that this needs to be done. And sometimes it doesn't resonate coming from the dad. Sometimes it needs to come from a pro ball player.
Through your program, I just realized like how much more I could learn. I could just feel the improvement over the course like of 4 or 5 months, like you said. With you being able to supply me with this type of structure, I'm able to just learn for myself and learn how to improve by myself, which makes me feel a lot better as well as a lot more accomplished in the end.
I definitely recommend joining it. It's awesome. The community's great. Having you there to support you is incredible, and overall love the program.
You get the full structure. You get your lifting, you get your arm velocity, you get your mechanics, you get your hitting, and the hands-on approach from you.
Infield velo was 68 or something like that. It was not good. My 60-yard dash was 7.7, which is not good. And I was not very mobile. I wasn't very strong. I mean, I'm a big kid, but a lot of it was just like from my size. My infield velo now is 80, and my 60-yard dash is 70.
It's insane. What was the root cause for all that?
I mean, it was just staying consistent with the program. I think just I had to really stay on, like focus on the path that I was trying to get. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to become elite. I was trying to get better. I know the stats at the time. I was like, oh yeah, that's not that bad. But going back and looking, that's not where I should be to play at the next level. Staying consistent with the program really helped me through that time.
I feel like now I'm really like dialed into what I'm doing. So when I do it, it's just like this before, like you talked about earlier, like it's just coming in naturally.
That felt good. I mean, it gave me my confidence shot up. I think you should join in. You do a really good job of replying back to messages, and you're really fast to help out other people with like coaching and their swings. You're a pretty good coach.
Hitting improved, touching improved, velocity went up, speed went up, everything in general went up. Before joining, I tracked my 60 time and I was running at 8.22, and then after a while I did a showcase and then I ran a 7.08.
What do you think the leading cause for that? That's crazy jump.
Probably mobility and probably the exercises that you have in your academy that allow for growth in those little tiny muscles that people forget about.
I could tell I was hitting the ball a little bit harder, and then it got better and better and better, and then my speed picked up with the sprinting training and all that, and I was just getting a lot better. But before that, it was not super good. I've definitely picked up on my hitting velo. Before I joined the program, my velo was 72 off the bat, and at this showcase, I hit 80.
That's insane, dude.
No, so when I first saw your program, you were talking about how to get to college and how to get D1 and get recruited and all this, and that had me super interested because I'm trying to go D1 and everything, try to get a scholarship and all this, and your program definitely talks about it and helps you walk through it and get you started. Honestly, I would say like the program definitely helped me a lot. Helped me work through some things, get my visualization for games and all that, just get me prepared.
Obviously, like my program's remote. Like, have you had any trouble by doing the work that I provide you?
Not at all. It's right in front of you. So it's super easy to get. Search it up, find it, and start working.
Welcome Evan Mendoza to the program.
Cardinals third baseman Evan Mendoza.
Giving it a look, finds the railing and he tumbles over, but he made the catch. Unbelievable, Evan Mendoza.
Gran jugada en Evan Mendoza, dos joyas defensivas.
Evan Mendoza makes a great
rounded up the middle. Mendoza throws off the shortstop. Mendoza field spins.
Short Mendoza throw to first in time. Wow, what a play by Evan Mendoza.
Mendoza to second for one. Oh my word, you've got to be kidding.
Evan Mendoza.
For Mendoza lifts one to left. An inning.
Mendoza, that one's sailing back there, and it's gone.
Now, those are some of the plays and the insights of playing baseball at the highest level, not just posting about it. Now, let's flip the script. Here's what my students and families have to say about working with me.
Just share his stories of the kids asking him, what did you do? And his one answer was one word: Evan.
It's an overall great program to improve your metrics, mental approach, your velocity, and your outreaching strategies. Because there's a ton of players I know that are way better than me that had 0 offers because they don't know how to reach out to coaches.
Pretty much every possible number when I've gone up. I was high 70s and now I'm aiming for mid to high 80s and hitting the same thing. I was high 80s off machine and now I'm able to put some balls out in the mid 90s.
JT's motivation to want to do it at home, be proactive in his baseball career, and we are able to do these things for him, and it's self-motivated and he's taken that action. As a parent, you want to be able to say yes to something like that.
It's been making me feel much more confident. Like now going into the season, I feel I have all the ability I need and I can just play and trust that all the work I did will pay off.
I started working out, I was about 120, 115, about 160 now. I trusted it and it worked. If you want to go get it, it's not going to come to you.
My EV was about 75 and my body weight was around 155, around that. Since I joined that, I'm up to almost 180 now and I'm hitting 80s, around mid 80s.
How much more kind of committed he was and how much more confident he became in his own progress, instead of questioning himself about, am I doing the right thing or is this the right thing? So you could kind of see the stress level decrease a little bit, and then that energy could be focused on really all of the program aspects, right? Or his workouts.
Do that. If you could get on and do what you said day in, day out, it's amazing. Like a game changer.
Through your program, I just realized like how much more I could learn. You can just feel the improvement over the course.
Right. Hope everyone's having a great day today. Welcome back to Coffee and Baseball. This is day 2, and I couldn't be more excited to talk to you guys. Obviously, I want to be able to give you guys as much baseball content as possible. I also want to make sure that I'm giving you guys valuable content. So if you guys have any baseball-related questions, feel free to drop them down below in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit easier for you guys to look at. So that way, if you're on mobile, it will make more sense for you guys. But hope everyone's day is going well. For those that are curious, my name is Evan Mendoza. I played 7 years of professional baseball between the Cardinals and Padres. And I want to be able to give you guys that guidance. And that's why I give you guys cool, free things over here. Like the free course on how to reach out to college coaches. You can always screenshot that. And from there, you'll be able to have an understanding of how to reach out to college coaches the right way. So that's something that I give away for free because I know it can help you guys out a ton. So if you guys have any baseball related questions, one thing that I love to do is we actually have this, let's scroll down. Okay, so it's right here. I should also write in the top right corner, this is day 2. Let's go ahead and write that in there, guys. Day 2 of 50 streaming every day at 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you guys like this type of content, just make sure to tell a friend because I'm going to be doing this every single day for 50 straight days. And I want to be able to give you guys, again, that best baseball content that's out there, especially for the parents that are out there that are curious about how to get their son recruited, making sure that they've got every resource available. And it can be very, very daunting, to say the least, as far as the whole college recruiting process. So that's why I want to talk about physical growth right here. If there's anybody that wants to step up to the plate and ask a question, or just simply if you guys have any baseball related questions, I can go over a player profile like we see right here. One thing that I also want to do in some capacity, I really want to be able to give you guys an understanding, especially on the social media side. One thing that we can do is go through some profiles of players, and that's something that not everyone's profile is necessarily going to look the most appealing. And obviously the whole profile, when it comes down to how we're positioning ourselves, we want it to look good. So there are a couple of individuals that I would really want to be able to kind of showcase, but of course I don't know if this is something that you guys want. So like if I were to kind of just go over people's Instagram profiles and give you guys my take on basically if they look good or if they don't look good, is that something that you guys would see as valuable or not? Because I am going to go ahead and clip some of my followers as far as their profiles, and then that way we can kind of review them one by one, and we can kind of just see if there's anything that we can benefit of as far as like learning what to do on social media, making sure that we know how to go about positioning ourselves, making ourselves look a little bit more presentable on social media. These are all the things that I love talking about. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and screenshot some of my followers. And if you guys are interested in want me to review your profile as far as how it's constructed and what to improve on as a baseball player trying to get recruited in the whole college recruiting process, just say me in the chat, especially over on Instagram, and I'll review your Instagram profile. But I'm gonna go ahead and scrape a few and then send them over. And then that way we can kind of just get the ball rolling in everything that we've got going on. So let's do those. I just went ahead and scraped some. So what I'll do here is I'll airdrop them over, and then okay, sure, I'll get you. All right, so pretty sure my photos are gonna show up in a second. All right, so we're gonna go into here, insert photo, and we're gonna go with, who is this? We got Austin. So we're gonna do a little bit of a Instagram profile audit. If you guys can see this, can you guys see this? All right, so we're gonna go over kind of just how we're positioning ourselves, and that should help you guys out with an understanding of, again, how to position yourself in the whole college recruiting game. Let's see, Augustine. Let's I'm gonna get your Instagram here in a second because I want to review your profile considering you are in this chat. So let me just give me a second, and I'm gonna airdrop this over, and we'll do you first just because you're here, you're live, and that way we can review your profile. So I don't know, let me see. All right, so is this you? Is it Augustine? Augustine, is that you? Is that you? It looks like you. All right. So we're gonna go over a couple of things, guys, because this is really important on how we're positioning ourselves in the social media game. Before we get into that though, so I'm at work and at the moment, and I can't really speak, but my son's 14 and plays high school next year. What steps are we needing to take for him to get recruiting? Begins his journey. So if he's freshman and will play high school next year, so that means he's probably in 8th grade, about to be in 9th grade, really focusing on the physical development, making sure that he's structured in the gym is going to help him out a ton. So that's probably where my focus would be. If you can, who was that? Steelers, if you can drop down some of his metrics, so that way I have an understanding where exactly you guys are at, that's going to help me out tremendously to give you guys the correct guidance that you guys ultimately need. So let's go over August. Am I saying that right? Augustine? Is that, or Augustine? I think that's your name. But either way, so as far as going over a couple of where you are currently at, let's see. I don't know why. Okay, it's not full. Let's see. I don't like how it isn't a full. Let me see if there's something else I can do. I usually okay, Studio Pen, is this better? Okay, that's a lot better. Okay, cool. So Augustine, if I'm saying that right, hopefully I am. It looks like I am. Okay, so first and foremost, Monkey Boy 909, right? Not necessarily the most professional, right? So I would definitely X that out, and we can actually make that in red because we don't want anything that really is going to scream unprofessional in the whole college recruiting process, right? So these college coaches will gauge your seriousness on how you're presenting yourself at the end of the day, and that's something that we don't want to do. 0 post, huge red flag, because we have the opportunity to post right here and we're just not showcasing anything to these college coaches. At the end of the day, like, you could be, based off your profile picture as well, you could be a spam account, right? We don't want that. So at the end of the day, like, your profile picture needs to be a clean cut headshot, similar to your baby picture, but think like your head's right here, your neck's right here, and your shoulders right here, with a clean, maybe like white or black background. So that way it's very obvious that you play baseball. We got White Rose in the building as well. So like very similar as far as a profile picture like that, very simple headshot like that. So profile picture needs improvement. As far as class 2029, that's good. Baseball, you know, in my opinion, if it is a baseball specific, you know, Instagram page that we're trying to get recruited for, as long as we have that emoji and some things that tell and speak that we play baseball, like left field, center field, right field. The problem with this, though, is too many. At the end of the day, when we don't have a specific position, we kind of label ourselves as a utility player, and you think you might be doing yourself a service by that, but in reality, you're telling the coach that you don't have that one specific position that you're best at. Ideally, the best position that you want to be best at is center field, because the center of the field is going to give you the best chances to be an athlete all across the board, right? As far as your age, not necessarily the most important. I would assume that's your age. Not the most important thing, because you tell the class already. But the things that I don't know is, you know, location. Like, where are you from, basically? I don't know that. You know, high school. I don't know that. You know, travel team. I don't know that, right? So there's a lot of unknown with this. Obviously, no post is doing yourself a really, you know, a big disservice, and that's where I would definitely be focusing on consistently posting and being a little bit more active. Center field is my main position, so make that known, right? Just put center field alongside with maybe like a, you know, something like this, where you want to put instead of baseball, what I would remove that and put, I'd put 29. I'd put a space right here. So like, obviously don't put an underscore, but just you're putting a space, vertical line, another space, center field, and then we could put another space, vertical line, another space, and then let's say you're from Florida, right? That's going to look a lot more professional in one single line. So that way the next line can be, you know, something that tells them what to do. Ideally, if we have some type of recruiting film, we want to put that in the link in our bio, and that could be like a YouTube video, and that's ideally what you tell them to do next, right? You can put 30-second highlight video with like an emoji down, right? And ideally, the emoji is going to point to your link in the bio. But anyway, that's hopefully that will give you some guidance on what to do, especially in this social media game. So let's go over the next one. I don't know why, but like, I'm not able to delete. It's really frustrating. I'm not able to delete. Come on, swipe. It's not letting me. Okay, whatever. It is what it is. Okay, let's go over Austin. So Austin, I checked out his profile just earlier today. And the big thing that I saw about Austin, so he is following me, which is cool. But I kind of cut it off right here. It is locked, right? So if you know, Austin posted, but he didn't post. If there were posts, like, college coaches want to see stuff in the grid, right? And we're blocking that out for whatever reason, right? So 0 post and locking it out isn't really doing yourself any, you know, service. 6'2", that's awesome. Let's see, at 2030, that's great for your age. 152, right-handed pitcher from Texas. You know, like, this is telling me everything. In my opinion, like, it's a little bit too wordy, and that's where I would kind of go back to the same format as before. By the way, good name and username. One thing that you can actually do, this is like the profile name. A lot of people don't know this in Instagram, but this is where you can put, like, again, that vertical line. You can put 2030, and you can put right-handed pitcher. So that way, all of this is done here, and then that way, what we can do in our bio is, you know, maybe put some metrics. Maybe, you know, we're 81 to 85. Maybe, and then that's where it's like we can go arm, we can go exit velocity, you know, 92 to 96. 60, 6.8, right? So that way we're giving them an understanding of who we are. And maybe that last line is, again, giving them an area of a link in bio right there. So these are a couple of things that I think would benefit you a ton by just making sure that you are positioning yourself the right way. Also, check out the profile name. If that's something that you want to do, you definitely don't have to do that. All right. So let's get into the next one. By the way, if anyone wants me to review, your son's Instagram profile, maybe it's a baseball specific profile, then go ahead and let me know. As far as Steelers, so that's something that he doesn't have social media. So I was talking about more on metrics like 60-yard dash time, arm velocity, exit velocity. So that way I can build a little bit of like a game plan on what he needs to be focusing on the most with what he's got going on. So let's go over Jeriel. And again, this was someone that I believe was locked, right? And if you're going to be private, then be private. Of course, that can be on your personal page. But if we're doing something for the purpose of recruiting, number one, we don't want it to be locked. We want to have posts, and clearly there are posts, but they're just hidden right now. Followers and following, this looks like more of a personal page, and that's completely okay. But what is like not having a bio, right? We need to have a bio. It is required, right? So these are the things that, of course, are really important when it comes down to social media, is how we're presenting ourselves at the end of the day. And we might be lacking some areas. And these are some things that I just think are very important. So let's go over another one. And what I'm going to actually do here is I'm going to try recording this. So let's do this one. All right. All right, I'm gonna record this. All right, let's review Matthias. All right, so let's review Mr. Rivas and his Instagram profile. So 7 posts, he's somewhat active. He has not, like a lot of people will do, he has not locked it out, which is really good. He's a public, Instagram, right? So that's always good. We can tell baseball. Yeah, I actually came across this one. It was just on my FYP, and that's obviously the benefit of posting on social media. So now let's go into it a little bit deeper. So in the profile and inside the bio, this is why we have our number, our jersey number, training today to shine tomorrow. I love that mindset. Future ball player. Ideally, you already are a current ball player, right? Parent managed account. So like this is something that college coaches are going to be a little bit turned off about as far as being very front facing, that it is a parent managed account. It is good that we have this as a public page, but of course we want to be a little bit more professional on how to go about this. So one area of improvement is always going to be the profile name inside Instagram. So the profile name, you can include a couple of other areas. This is going to be first name, last name, which is pretty common. We want to put like maybe a space right there, not necessarily an underscore. Vertical line, we can do position. So let's say right-hand pitcher, another space, but we're not going to include it, of course. And then maybe graduation year. So it looks like he might be a little bit younger, so maybe 2032. So it gives an instant understanding of how old this player is, gives an instant understanding of what position that player is, and then now the bio can do a little bit more talking as far as what those next steps could look like. We can include arm velo, we can include exit velocity, we can include 60 here in the bio, because now we're communicating what's going on here. Another area that we can definitely focus on is what state we're in. Let's say we're in Texas. This is something that we can include in the bio. There's not one size fits all as far as the bio, but as far as next steps, we always want to guide these college coaches to the next step. So that's where instead of parent managed account, we want to watch basically like a 30-second highlight video and basically put like an emoji down, and ideally right before the follow, this is where we want to put like a YouTube link, right? And that way it's a very seamless process going from Instagram. We're able to analyze and really evaluate that specific player in that highlight video, and that way it's that much more efficient. So you guys are probably going to see that as a reel because I was just recording that. But yeah, this is something that I definitely want to do a little bit more often, especially for you guys, because this is some stuff that a lot of people just don't teach you on how to do the social media side. So if you guys are looking for a little bit more guidance on the social media game, let me know. I think I might have gone through everyone. Let me see. There might be one more. All right, so this is actually a great one to do. All right, we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do. All right, cool. Let's actually record this as well, so that way we can do it as a reel as well. By the way, guys, I'm doing lives every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern time for 50 straight days. That's why I wrote it up here on, you know, the top right. But if you guys want me to review you or your son's baseball profile, feel free to let me know, like the link or basically a username. That way I can search your son up and give you guys some guidance. All right, let's review Nata's Instagram profile. And by the way, like, God first, I love that. Including some, you know, it looks like Bama State baseball. I don't know if that's a high school program. This could be a high school program. Possibly that's a college program. That's always good. But by putting a link right here and a link right here, I don't know if you guys feel this, but if I tap like right there, I could go to this one or I could go to this one. So I never like to include links or too many links in the bio because sometimes it's hard to, you know, divert that attention. Class of 2027, the one thing that I really want to emphasize really here is there is in Instagram a character count that will limit the number of lines that you have. So more than likely there is another line right here that has some type of information, but you have to actually click more to see that extra line, right? So these are the things that a lot of people don't teach you in Instagram when it comes down to college baseball recruiting. But the one thing that I really am curious on, well, first off, great job by not locking your content, right? That's really good because this is a public and a public profile. You also have highlights. I don't know what entirely these highlights represent. So that's where like you could do like spring of 25. You could do, of course, if you're trying to show that progression over here, might be like summer of 23 and then so forth, right? Maybe if you took a trip to, you know, Puerto Rico, awesome. Let's highlight that. But as far as we want to like be a little bit more transparent about what these highlights are before someone actually clicks in. But the one thing as far as this bio that we want to really include are some, you know, key information as far as like positions, you know, state, you know, grad year, which we include right here. But there's a better way to really do that, and that's inside the profile name. And a lot of people don't realize this, but the profile name, this is where we can label ourselves who we basically are. So we can include like a space right there, a vertical line, another space, and then we can put, let's say, you know, you're a shortstop. We're gonna do another space right there, another vertical line, and then 2027. Very, very clean, very professional, and ultimately you're communicating this. Now it frees up more space for that more area to be moved up. We can include God first still. We can also include things like arm velo, exit velocity, or 60 times to give an understanding of what our current metrics look like. But ultimately what we really are missing out on is a link to a YouTube video. And ideally that YouTube video is gonna communicate who you are, ideally maybe even show the progress that you've been making throughout your journey. Another area that we can definitely highlight is our athletic abilities, right? In the gym, especially on the field, how we're taking ground balls, how we're getting after it in the cage, during our cage work. These are all areas that we can include in that YouTube video. So make these changes and your Instagram is gonna perform that much better. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we just got 2 over there. I'm gonna go ahead and actually just send those over to Nate right now. Because those videos are going to be super helpful for him to be able to chop up, and yeah, it's going to be super efficient. So, all right, guys, if you have any baseball related questions, that's what I'm here for. I played 7 years of professional baseball between the Cardinals and Padres, guys. I want to be able to give you guys as much guidance as possible, and that's what this is, especially on the Instagram side, on the social media side. It's very fun, if you ask me. I enjoy this stuff. So like if you guys enjoy this stuff, if you guys have any baseball specific questions, let me know always in the chat. That's what I'm here for. I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys as much valuable content as possible. But yeah, guys. And there is also the call in. I don't know if you guys are going to use that much, but that is where we are going to be able to, you guys are going to be able to call in and ask a specific question, which is always exciting because I want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity to be able to ask a specific question, especially if you're a parent out there looking for maybe more resources in the college recruiting game, or if you just want me to go over a little bit of a player profile. It's something that I enjoy doing, as far as like, you give me your name, your grade, your position at EV, arm velo, 60-yard dash time, pop time if you have one, and if you're a catcher, and then that way I can just kind of guide you on like what metrics possibly holding you or your son back. So if that's something that is interesting to you guys, go ahead, comment down below. That's what I want to be able to help you guys out with, is just making sure that you guys get that guidance during our second day of Coffee and Baseball. Guys, for those that are curious, we're going to be streaming 50 straight days. So every single day, excluding Sundays, right? So we're not going to be streaming on Sundays, but Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, we're going to be on here for 1 hour answering your guys' questions. If you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure to tell a teammate, make sure to tell another family member. If you're a player listening to this, have your parent drop in, ask a question, because more than likely your parents have more questions than you do, and that's pretty common because parents want to make sure that they're doing everything possibly right for their son. And you're the son, you're the player, right? And I want you to basically progress and keep playing baseball at the highest level if possible, if that's something that you want to do. So, you know, sometimes it's just getting a little bit more of clarity, more guidance in the whole college recruiting game, and we'll be able to go from there. But feel free to ask any baseball related questions whatsoever, because I want to make sure that you guys, get that clarity, guys. At the end of the day, I want to make sure that you guys get that clarity. I want to make sure that you guys get that understanding of who I am, what I stand for. And what this is really doing is making sure that you just realize that I am a human being. I'm a human being. Also, it's a really weird thing on Instagram. When you log in on Instagram, it doesn't show like other comments for whatever reason. So it is what it is. But how to put work in on your own and what to do, my man. This is where, it really comes down to the mindset, right? Like, if the question is like how to get work in on your own, it's really a deeper issue, right? Because the deeper issue is like, how do I want to do that extra work, right? Because if you want to do that extra work, dude, you're gonna do it, right? You're gonna go ahead and go through with it. And that's something that like I have a hard time understanding, because I want all students of the game to really just make sure that they're, having that mindset, having that guidance, making sure that they do what they are destined for, right? So it's not a question like how, it's more of a question on like why. Like, let's be honest, CNS, RJ23, I don't know if that's a parent or I don't know if that's a player, but let's have a quick little conversation. Like, why do you want to even work harder? Why do you even want to put work in on your own? Because you don't have to put that extra work in, right? You're asking me how to get more work in or how to work on your own, but really what you need to be asking yourself is like, why do we even want to put that work in, right? Because if the how is the easy part, the why is the harder part, right? Why do we want to be the best baseball player we can possibly be? Why do we want to play at that next level? Why do we want to pursue something that only a very small fraction of all high school baseball players have the opportunity to play at that highest level, maybe at the Division I level or beyond, and getting drafted? Why, right? So ask yourself the right question, because if we're asking ourselves how do we get extra work in, you literally get in the car, maybe ask your parents to drive you to the gym, and you get the work done. That's the how. But the why, it takes a little bit more of a deeper thought. I want to make it to the big leagues, and the only way to do that is to put the work in. Okay, now you've kind of checked off the why. That's the hard part, dude. The how is, dude, you don't need the fanciest gym. You don't need, the best cage. You don't need a hitting coach. You don't need a pitching coach. You don't need a strength coach, or you don't need any of that. Go do push-ups this second, right? Go, literally, I'm sitting down right now, but like, I have a floor. More than likely, you're sitting somewhere. You might be standing somewhere. There's a floor somewhere. You might be at school, and maybe you don't want to do push-ups, and that's totally fine. But at the end of the day, it's not the how, it's the why. This is probably one of the most important lessons that I think I could tell you guys, is because you're asking me how to put more work in on your own and what to do. You're asking me the how question. Again, dude, It's not about the how, it's more about the why. You need to ask yourself, why do you want to play at the next level? Why? And your answer was perfect, dude. I want to play at the big league level, and the only way to do that is put in the work. You've checked off the why, dude. The how, it's easy. Do push-ups, do sit-ups, figure it out. I used to have one of those, it wasn't like a PX90 or P90X or whatever. It was just a pull-up bar that you'd put in the doorway, and I would do those religiously when I was about 6th grade. I remember I could barely even do 5 pull-ups in a row, right? And then those 5 turned into 10, and those 10 turned into 15, and those 15 turned into 20, and ultimately through that progression, I was able to do like 30 to 40 in a row in a single set. And that's when I was weighing like 100 pounds probably. I was in 6th grade. Maybe I was weighing around 80 or 90 pounds, so it was a little bit easier on my muscles. But ultimately, the how to do the work, dude, you can do push-ups. You can be resourceful of what you've got going on. You can run. Believe it or not, it doesn't take a single dollar to go outside and run some sprints and increase that athleticism, maybe do some 5-10 5s, run a 60-yard dash so you have that clarity. But at the end of the day, dude, the how is the easy part. You just need to really focus on the why do you really want to do it, because not many people actually want to play at that next level. So that's an important aspect of, you know, the mentality that you have to be able to want to play at that next level. Hopefully that answers your question, dude. We're only gonna be going live for another 30 minutes or so, guys. So if you have any baseball related questions, feel free to ask them down below, and I will do my best to be able to help guide you in the right direction, to help you understand maybe where you're at, where you're going, what's holding you back, whatever the case may be. But yeah, these are the things that I want you guys to, be aware of, right? Because it's not always, fun and games to do that extra work, right? CSN, I'm also curious, like what grade are you in, dude? Where are you from? What if you know any of your metrics, exit velocity, arm velocity, 60 time, like that's gonna help me understand how to best guide you at the end of the day. But yeah, dude, working on that mental side, it's something that a lot of high school baseball players just completely neglect, unfortunately. It is an area that I've noticed more and more and more throughout my professional career, that I never really focused on my mindset, but through the training that I did by myself, I was constantly chipping away and refining my mindset to be as strong of an individual as possible. What's your best mentality at the plate? I'm the best. You're not going to beat me. I'm not going to lose to you, right? It's a mano-a-mano when you're up there at the plate, right? And at the higher levels, when guys are throwing 95 miles an hour plus, you can't give in to the mindset of that they're better than you in any capacity. So my mentality at the plate, dude, it's, I'm going to put the ball in play. You're not going to strike me out, especially when it gets down to 2 strikes. I'm going to be a warrior and fight off a lot of pitches, especially pitchers' pitches that are borderline. I'm not going to go down looking. I'm going to make sure that I'm swinging. I'm going to make it difficult for them to get me out. I'm going to be a competitor in the mindset of making sure that if there is a pitch that I'm off balance for, at the very least, I'm going to be able to, foul off pitches and maybe go the other way if it is a, breaking ball in the middle of the zone. So having a good mindset, not only with 2 strikes, can really make the pitcher mad, but also the mentality of just being the best, and you are the best player out there on the field. When there's that little bit of doubt that creeps in, that's where ultimately that confidence starts to diminish, and then that's where your performance ultimately is the thing that pays the factor, or pays the the gate fee almost of the tournament, right? Your confidence needs to be at peak all the way through, right? The at bat, especially with 2 strikes. That's where I think a lot of young hitters don't understand 2-strike approaches. And personally for me, like I didn't know what my 2-strike approach was until my sophomore year of college, where I really started to refine that. So don't expect to understand these things right away, but have that mental fortitude of when you're in the plate or at the box, at the plate, you're willing to get deep into the count, to have a quality at bat, to be able to foul off pitches that are, borderline, to frustrate the pitcher. There were so many pitchers that gave me the compliment, and this, if anything, it boosted my confidence even more, and they didn't even realize they were doing it, but they were saying to me, dude, I hate pitching against you, especially with 2 strikes. I feel like you're going to get a hit. Like every single time, it's like, man, when I'm ahead, which doesn't really make sense, when the pitcher is ahead, they feel like I'm going to get a hit, right? And that was part of my gameplay. I want to see pitches. I want to get deep into the count. I wasn't a home run hitter, so my player profile was more of a contact-driven approach, especially at the plate. I wasn't trying to hit home runs, even though when I did hit home runs, everyone was like, "Woo, let's go, awesome!" And I had the same reaction as well. But getting deep into the zone, I'll never forget a pitcher even on my own team. He remembered me from when we faced each other in college, and he goes, "Dude, I hated facing you in college, dude. Like, you simply would just never get out. You would never give up the at-bat, and it was so frustrating as a pitcher." And like, that just made me feel so confident in my abilities and everything. What's your best advice going into the next season? Dude, be a baller, put in that extra work, find the extra time, be productive, find the extra 15 minutes a day to do extra push-ups, sprint work, whatever the case may be. Get extra T work in, because it's the extra work that you do is going to shine bright under the lights. When you are alone, when you are by yourself, you can't expect to always be during team practices to get bigger, faster, stronger. Like, you have to be in the mindset, you have to do that extra work. So again, your initial question was like, how to get that extra work in. Dude, you just do it. And I want to tell you guys a quick little story because I thought it was pretty interesting. And I kind of referenced this yesterday about cold plunging, because I love cold plunging at the gym that I'm going to right now. And it was funny because I was on the webinar yesterday. That was day 1. We're on day 2 of 50. We're going to be streaming every single day at 11 a.m., by the way. So if you guys have any baseball related questions, feel free to ask. But yeah, I went cold plunging last night, and during my workout before, so probably like 30 minutes, 45 minutes before, I was listening to a podcast, and I don't know if you guys know who Tony Robbins is, but he's like one of those motivational speakers. And it's funny enough, there was an event in West Palm Beach probably like a month ago that was hosted by Tony Robbins, and there's a ton of business people there, and they were all like hyping him up that he's like this amazing figure that's helped them out and, you know, overcome so much stuff. So I was listening to a podcast. It was called the Diaries of a CEO. They interview like Mr. Beast and Tony Robbins, Kevin Hart, just like really big figures. And Alex Ramossi's on there as well. But he was talking about how he cold plunges as well. And I was like, oh, let's go. He cold plunges. And he said kind of very similar things that I said yesterday on the webinar. Is like, I don't even care about the health benefits. I care about the mental benefits. And that's what he said. He basically said the most successful people in the world, and especially when he started to realize about the cold plunge, when you say that you're going to do something, you just do it. It's very binary. It's very black and white, right? So for CNS, RJ23, if you say that you're going to do that extra work, just do it. Don't think about it. Don't hesitate on it. Just do the hard thing right then and there. So when I think about cold plunging, yesterday in particular, like yes, there's some little hesitation. Maybe I'm slow to walk into the cold plunge. But yesterday I was like, I'm just gonna jump in. Like, I'm literally just gonna like walk in, go all the way down to the back of my neck, which is usually where it gets the coldest. And that's what I did as far as the cold plunging yesterday, because I listened to that podcast and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna walk into this cold plunge and I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna hesitate. I'm just gonna do it, right? So these are the things that I really want to make sure that you guys have that understanding of, like, for the cold plunge, for doing that extra work. Really, for your question, CNS, is like not necessarily how to get that extra work in, but you already know that you want to do that extra hard work. It's now just making sure that there's no hesitation of like the thought and the do, right? Because a lot of people will hesitate right here. And this goes for parents that are listening to this as well. Like, how many times have you said, like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym early in the morning, and your thought of, you know, that would help you. You know that's going to be helpful. You know it's going to be healthy for your body. You know there's going to be so many benefits. But then there's so much hesitation, right, in between. And sometimes this hesitation are days. Sometimes it's months. Sometimes it's years, right? And ultimately, we're staying stuck, not making any progress until we actually do the work, do the hard work, go to the gym, whatever the case may be. These are the things that I really want to make sure that you guys have that understanding on, because these are the things that I've noticed throughout my time, just, you know, playing ball, you know, having a good time, making sure that you guys have or making sure that I had all the resources available to ultimately play at the next level. And when we're talking about high school athletes, teenagers, right, we're talking about, at the end of the day, like, individuals that probably don't realize these things, that they can help. And I'm here to say, like, they absolutely can, right? All right, so best drill to teach high school players to turn back hip instead of being upper body dominant. Kid has trouble understanding turning back hip, or at least feeling it. So really difficult one to kind of explain to you guys, but like what I would say is kind of like the walkthrough. So let's call it, this is the plate, right? And this is the batter's box. So this is going to resemble basically my feet. And what I would do is basically start them way back here, right? Beyond, or, basically where the catcher is going to be standing. And what I would do here next is I would let my right foot, as a righty, we're going to just talk about righty to make it super easy. Andrew, by the way, answering your question here. So I would go right foot this way and plant right here. Left foot then would go, actually no. So right foot would plant basically in the back of the box. So maybe you're going to start like right here, but either way. Right foot you're going to plant. Left foot you're going to plant at a normal landing spot. And then basically after that, after the swing, what we really want to do is have that right foot, again, that right foot is now here, left foot's right here. We want that right foot and really the knee to come through right there. And basically think like you're like a UFC person, like giving like a, I don't even know what that's called, but basically pretend like you're kneeing the pitcher, right? We're bringing that right hip all the way through to the pitcher, and we're basically trying to knee the pitcher. And it's basically called the walkthrough drill. And that's basically an area where you can stop at the swing without bringing this this back foot all the way through. I like to go all the way through because that's going to really help me understand translating that weight forward towards the pitcher, and I think that's going to be the best bet for getting that backside, that back hip to help rotate through. Great question, by the way. And if anyone else has any baseball-related questions, that's why I'm doing this live. I want to make sure you guys get the best guidance as possible. That is also contextual to your guys' current situation. So that's why I do love doing I'm going to move it up a little bit. It's a little bit glitchy. That's never fun. I was doing some Instagram profile reviews also for baseball players that are posting some stuff on social media. And that's something I always love to do. Yeah, I don't know why this is... Okay, there we go. Social media can be just such a huge engine for you or your player. It's gross, in the best way possible, of course. Much appreciated, absolutely, Andrew. Make sure to tell a friend or tell a teammate or tell a player, maybe another parent, that I do these lives every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to be doing it for 50 straight days, excluding Sundays. So yeah, make sure that you guys join in maybe tomorrow or the next day, or not the next day, because the next day would be Sunday. But either way, 11 a.m., just keep it in the back of your mind. If you have a baseball-related question, you want to jump in, make sure to follow me, and we'll be able to answer your questions and make sure that you get the best guidance possible. So for anyone that's in here right now, one thing that I was doing just now is reviewing some profiles. So let's actually get back to that because I really enjoyed that. I want to get back to some players that are following me, and then that way we can kind of just go over them together and kind of see where some players might be lacking as far as their Instagram profile and how they're using social media to help get them recruited. I'm trying to find a really good example because then we can kind of go over. Okay, this is a good one. Okay, we got Logan. Okay, we're gonna go over Logan's Instagram profile. All right, let's do it. Logan, I know Logan's not going to be in this live per se, but this is something that if you guys want me to do this for you or your son, make sure to just drop like a me or something like that in the chat, and then we'll go from there. So as far as Logan, first and foremost, baseball related picture, that's always going to be a plus. Catcher in center field, that's good. 5-star national 2030, that's good to know. 5-star is a pretty well-known organization. Hanover Central 30, so that's one thing. I don't know where Hanover is. I feel like it might be like in Michigan or something like that, but I'm not entirely sure. Roll Mafia, that's like a fun thing, right? You're labeling yourself as him/he. I love that. But no, so this is actually, believe it or not, you're including this as like an Instagram preference. You don't have to include that, and that's actually taking up real estate for college coaches. I understand like you're trying to be fun with it. The one thing I will say is like, dude, you don't have any posts yet. Like, let's post. If we're going to have a baseball specific baseball profile, especially to help get recruited, we want to be posting. So as far as this is the profile name, and again, for if you were joining in earlier, we can put like a 2030 right here, and we can also put like catcher, center, fielder right here. So now the profile area tells everything to a college coach on like positions, things like that. But now here we can include more things like metrics. Maybe we can still include the 5-star national, because that's going to give you some credibility that you're on the national team for 5-star. One thing for Hanover Central 30, so this is repeating, right? 2030, 2030, it's the same thing. We don't need to do that. If anything, I would put Hanover Central, comma, and then put the state, like as an abbreviation. Let's say that's in Texas, put TX, right? As far as Roll Mafia, not needed. If you're wanting to be fun, you definitely can do that. But I would give them kind of like a what's called a CTA. What should I do next if I'm a college coach looking to basically recruit you, right? What do I do next? Because right now, there's no posts, there's no email, there's no nothing. So what I would probably include is a link right here. And that ultimately is the last thing that we want to do right before, is like some type of arrow down with some type of call to action, which is like my 30-second highlight video, right? So these are the things that we can include right before that link in the bio, right? And that's basically going to give people that understanding of what's really going on. And just for reference, like what I'll do, not going to say that my academy is perfect or I'm perfect by any means, but let's go ahead and kind of just show you guys what this actually looks like, so you guys can have that understanding as well. And also you guys can also understand like what I'm here to do and what I'm here to help out with. So let's do it. All right, so this is, for those that are curious, my academy. That's what you're looking at this on right now, probably, more than likely. If you're on YouTube, then you're on YouTube. That's awesome. But yeah, so right here, again, this is what the profile name is. You can put another hyphen right here. You can put like right-handed pitcher, shortstop, if I was doing more recruiting stuff. But of course, this is going to be kind of a very quick summary of what's going on. You can put baseball player if you really like. What I would probably prefer that you do is, you know, positions, and then another one, and then basically grad, right? So positions and then grad, right? Yes, we have about 83,000 followers. That comes from a lot of hard work and consistency, just like anything else, guys. But yeah, let's go over it. Let's actually make this a little bit bigger so it's not as pixelated. Okay, cool. So at the very first line, this is where it's, you know, going to be a little bit different, obviously, because I do help high school baseball players play in college and get offers. This is more of like a why, right? And then this is what I really wanted to reference for you guys, is some type of CTA, right? So this is a call to action. Learn how your player can go D1. And if you're interested on how your player can go D1, I'd probably click this link that's going to take you to the start page for my academy. And from there, it's going to be a quick little like 5-minute explainer video explaining who I am, what my program is, and how I could possibly help. Not saying I can help every single player out. We do turn players out all the time, or turn players down all the time, because like they're just simply not going to be a good fit for who I want to work with. At the end of the day, I do want to work with certain individuals that actually will put in the work. As far as highlights, this is something that's encouraged as well if you're a high school baseball player, that is very obvious on what to do. So like this one's going to be just social media profile. So if you are on Instagram, you want to, you know, transfer over to YouTube, very easy to do that. This one's going to talk about my program. That's going to talk about proof, and that's going to be a little bit more proof as well if anyone is doubting what we've got going on. But this is where we can put like, you know, summer highlights. And what I would do here is probably put individual videos, right? And then when you tap, you would go to another individual video, and then you tap and you go to another individual video. So you know, like no editing really is necessary for this highlight area if you're trying to use it as a recruiting you know, highlight area. What I would do is just individual video right here, individual video right here, right? We don't need to create a highlight video for the summer and then tap along for another highlight video for the spring or the fall or the, you know, the winter. We don't need to do those things, right? So if you want me to review you or your son's profile on Instagram or really anything, feel free to drop it down below in the chat, and then we'll be able to go from there. But yeah, guys, this is going to be a baseball-related question, but we're only going to be live for another 10 minutes. Wow. Time is going by very, very fast. Again, guys, day 2 of 50 streaming at 11 a.m. Eastern time, excluding Sundays. So if you guys are interested in asking baseball-related questions, if you don't have a question today, that's not a big deal, but maybe after we log off, you might have a question. That's where go ahead and ask it tomorrow or the next day, or just ask it right now, and I'll get you taken care of. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts for those that are joining in chat? If do you guys like when I like go over profiles and stuff like that? Because that's something that I feel like I would appreciate. Like when I go over things like that, like, do you guys like that, or do you guys hate it? What are your thoughts? I want to make sure that I'm providing good value to you guys, and if at the end of the day, like, if you guys hate this type of content, I'm going to move on. And one of my biggest promises to you guys is just to continue putting out good content that you guys actually like and you want more of. That's the reason why I'm doing this. It's a lot more interactive. It's a lot more engaging, in my opinion, than a 3-second reel that kind of brain rots you and asks you to like read a caption, and the caption's like, ChatGPT. And that, yes, we post some content like that. And it's not going to necessarily help you guys out as much. So we got Janice. Janice, I think I remember you from yesterday as well. And we might have had a conversation in the DMs as well. So like, if that's something that you, if this is something that you guys are enjoying, same thing with you, Rachel, Red Beer. I remember having a conversation with you yesterday as well. But like, guys, if this is something that you guys feel like is helpful, tell another parent of a baseball player, not necessarily right now, but like maybe in 30 seconds, all right? Because like, I want this thing, and the reason I'm doing this for 50 straight days is because if we can all come together, my chair is very squeaky, well, if we can all come together and at the end of the day, like, ask one baseball parent, ideally a parent, right? We're doing this at 11 a.m. for a reason. If we can just talk to another baseball parent and be like, you should really join this dude's live. He goes live every single day except for Sunday at 11 a.m. If you just tell one person to do that, and then that one person joins in and they do that, and then that person, guys, that's where like the trickle down effect really can happen. And I'm happy with the success so far. We were up to like, I think 12 or 13 viewers at a time. Yesterday, I think we had a maximum of like 40 or 50, but that, of course, we put in a lot of marketing efforts to make sure that there was good traction on that. But like, yeah, reviewing profiles is great since we're getting started here. Yeah, no, a lot of people get started in the social media side by, putting out a profile and putting it as private because they don't want college coaches to see, because maybe their metrics aren't as good, or maybe they don't feel like they're college ready. Well, if you were college ready, you'd already be in college and you already be on the team, right? Of course, you're not necessarily college ready, or you feel uncomfortable about posting. So these are the areas that I wish I had a little bit more guidance on, because of course I had to learn throughout my really close to 7 years of doing social media ever since 2019. 2019 does not sound like 7 years ago, but it's 2016, or no, sorry, it's 2026 right now. And 2019 is, 7 years ago. Anyway, wow. Anyway, so yeah, if you guys have any baseball content ideas, one thing that I was thinking about doing is, these player profiles, and that could be something that is like almost like a theme for Friday. We could also do review videos of hitting, so that way we can give a little bit more live guidance on maybe a hitting video or anything in particular. But that's going to give me a lot better of an understanding of like what exactly it is that you guys are looking for. If you're on Instagram as well, you can also take a screenshot, that left QR code, this one, screenshot to call in. So screenshot it, go to your photo album, press and hold on that QR code, and it will pull up the website to be able to have me call you guys. Yes, I would call you guys directly on your phone number that you provide, and then we could have a quick little conversation on like where you are currently at, where you're trying to go, if I can even help you or your son. And that's something that I just want to be able to offer to you guys. Not saying that everyone's going to do it, but I feel like once one person does it, it's going to probably turn into 2, and then 2 turns into 4, and the same idea of tell a friend to tell a friend, guys. That's where this thing really will grow. But yeah, every single day for 50 straight days. Today was day number 2. Tomorrow's going to be day number 3. and I'm going to see you guys at 11 a.m. But we're nearing the 1 hour mark, so if anyone has a baseball related questions, if anyone has any questions about my program, how I deliver the results for my students, because at the end of the day, like, they are doing the work. I'm just help guiding them, giving them that path that has worked so many times over and over again. If anyone is curious, you can always go to my website, which I'll actually just go ahead and pull it up, because I'm really happy about my website. It took me some time to, build it out and everything. But you can go over to this results tab, and this is where you can look at student wins. This is something that I remember building out, and I didn't have a single clue in the world on how it was supposed to be built out. But the one thing that I wanted to do in this page is, number one, show that what we do works. Number two, I was like, oh wait, no, we're not on Instagram. Okay, there we go. Number one, show whatever we do, it ultimately works, right? And this is the college commitments. It's going to look a little bit different on mobile, of course, but obviously you can see that we've had plenty of students that land a college commitment. Now, if you want to jump to the wins, the really important aspect of this is students are seeing these wins on a daily basis, right? And whenever I, come across, a screenshot from one of my students that's just really exciting, I just take a screenshot and we upload this, right? So January 5th, so about 10 days ago, December 18th, November, right? Like, these are, just screenshots from some of my students whenever they tell me something really exciting. It's been a very busy, Christmas and, Thanksgiving time, but you can see that there's, these progress reports from all of my students, and that this is working, and kind of the feedback that I'm getting, especially from Derek Doler, right? His 60 time went from a 7.1 to a 6.7 inside my program. Exit velocity went up 11 miles an hour off of the tee, right? This isn't just off a machine versus off the tee. His velo, arm velo, went up about, 3 miles an hour, and he jumped about 25 pounds. No, that's 15 pounds. So and also for Delvin right here, he went from a 4.86 5.10 5 time down to a 4.15. That's insane. 4.15 is incredibly quick. Same thing with Derek. He went from a 5 down to a 4. It looks like a 4.4 or 4.6 or something like that. But yeah, this is just the proof, right? You can look at all this all day long, but it's not necessarily going to help your son, because at the end of the day, I feel like that's a quote that I really like saying, at the end of the day, and maybe I need to work on that. But hearing people also makes a lot of sense too. So you can watch some case studies as well, about how some families have seen some help inside my program. The big thing that I want you guys to also realize is you don't have to do that work, right? You don't have to do that homework of what I do. You don't have to look at other students' success stories, but this is the research that I would expect every single one of my players to do before joining into the program. I'm going to be transparent with you guys, because my program, if you were to buy a new car, I would want to compare a couple of different models before, making sure, and, I'd want to make sure I'm doing my due diligence. I would want to do some research to make sure that I'm not going to get scammed or anything like that. That's another reason why I'm doing these lives, right? Because I want to make sure that you guys realize I'm a real human being, and I'm here to give you guys more than take, right? Because I think there's so many more people out there, players and parents, that need the guidance but aren't able to make the justification on joining into a program, and I get that. That's totally fair. My big mission with the Mendoza Baseball Academy, for those that are just joining in maybe for the first time, is to help every single high school baseball player out. Every single one of them, and there's about 500,000. So how am I able to make such a big, bold claim? Well, we're doing this live right now for 5 people, right? That 5 people hopefully tomorrow can turn into 10 and so forth. But my content, we get about 1 million views every single month. So you can kind of expect that not only high school baseball players, but maybe high school baseball coaches, maybe high school parents are coming across my content, and we're helping players out maybe with the realization through maybe a piece of content. And that's why on my website, I love putting it out there. If you click the link in my bio, you'll see it. We've helped millions of players through free content. It's without a doubt. I would assume maybe over the past 7 years, we've maybe even helped close to 1 billion. Who knows? I'm not going to do that math, but I'm very confident in saying we've helped over 1 million players just through free content, because they like it, they engage with it, and it's very helpful for them. It might be helpful for you as well, and that's why you might be following my page. We've helped thousands and thousands and thousands in the DMs. Like a lot of you guys know, we'll reach out to you, especially if you shoot us a follow, because at the end of the day, like if you guys are interested in what we do, I just want to hear a little bit more about where you guys are at. If you're old enough to even work with us, what you guys are struggling with, because that helps me refine my content, refine my structure, and what you guys are really looking for, and making sure that it's as valuable as possible. Now, the last area is we've helped hundreds and hundreds inside my academy. I think to date we're around 250, and that's where it's going to be a little bit less people, of course, because there is a level of commitment, just like a college commitment, though, guys. And if we view how many players say that they want to play college baseball versus how many players that actually have that opportunity, it's about 7% in all division levels. So we always want to keep that in mind. One big goal for me, of course, for the students that do join into the academy, is to give them every single possible resource to be able to play college baseball. From the recruiting aspect, from the mindset, some of the stuff that we were talking about earlier in this live. And then last but not least, of course, is the physical development. Probably the most important one, because we need to be physical athletes for these college coaches to recruit us. So many parents think recruiting comes first. No, it does not come first. Recruiting is not the problem. Physical development typically is the problem, and also the performance in the right room or on the right field is what matters the most. So guys, today was a great success. I appreciate you guys for joining in. This is day 2 of 50. We're going to be streaming every single day, excluding Sundays. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. This was a great success. Make sure to tell a parent of a high school baseball player or a parent of a baseball player that we're doing these lives every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern time, every single day, excluding Sundays. But with that, I will end the live. I appreciate your guys' attendance.